Hello, everybody. This is Ty, and I'm Charlene, and we are with The Truth About Cancer coming to you with another episode of Global Health News.
Yeah, we're so glad that you joined us today. This is our first edition of 2019. 2019 has been a crazy busy year for us, and we got a lot of great stuff in the works, but we did want to get back on track to bringing you this Global Health News because we've gotten feedback from you all, and you really enjoy it. So we're glad to be back for another episode.
Yes, we're glad that you enjoy it. We always get that feedback from you, but some people are asking, where is Global Health News? So it's right here, ready for you once again. We've been busy producing our big project coming to you in April, and we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, Truth About Cancer, Eastern Medicine, Journey Through Asia is coming in April, so we're really pumped about that. That will be you'll be seeing trailers for it, and we'll be sending out emails and informing you exactly when that's coming. April 3rd, though, is the first date of the first episode. But
yes.
You'll be hearing about it and seeing it well before it gets here, because you're people that follow us on The Truth About Cancer. But this episode, this is kind of like what we're calling the corruption episode or something like that, I guess. Corrupt, because all the stories that we're talking today about are evidences of corruption in either the government or in the industry, right? In industries like big food or big agri or big pharma or the FDA or the CDC. So a lot of corruption. So we just kind of wanted to start off with this inaugural 2019 Global Health News talking about corruption. So the first study is it's an article that's on millbank.org. Conversations between Coca-Cola and the CDC. Now, this article discusses FOIA requests that were sent, and FOIA stands for Freedom of Information Act. That's a FOIA request. And that's basically where anybody in the United States can request to get information on what went on in secret or meetings or whatever that are supposed to be disclosed, and they can get access to them. So found out through FOIA requests that the CDC and Coca-Cola have been communicating back and forth, and the main themes were that Coca-Cola was trying to convince the CDC, and the CDC apparently was reciprocating, that they needed to shift attention and blame away from sugar-sweetened beverages being bad for your health. Isn't that bizarre?
Well, I think we're living in a bizarro kind of world where the corruption is steeping through just about every conceivable crevice of the earth.
Yeah.
And to the politics and to the companies, and these companies are so corrupt that they're steeping it into the government. And so it's really hard to fight this corruption, but what we're doing right now, bringing it to you, is vital to our health and our lives as we fight this. You share it so that your friends and family can learn that Coca-Cola and the CDC are somewhat in bed together, working for each other but not for us, which by definition isn't the CDC. Aren't they supposed to be working for us, Ty?
Well, it's a government-funded agency, Center for Disease Control. People think that it's there to prevent disease. I'm personally shocked because the CDC has never been involved in any scandals previously. I mean, except for the CDC whistleblower deal with William Thompson and Vaxxed, and
don't they have
they knew
patents
about
to vaccines too?
Oh yeah, they sell vaccines too, billions of dollars worth.
While
a year.
they're protecting us from unsafe vaccines.
Yeah, they're selling the vaccines. They knew about the autism vaccine link, the MMR link, back 18 years ago now, and never told us. So, being sarcastic, of course,
yes.
we're not shocked at all.
Cheek.
CDC, but these emails and these communications back and forth from Coca-Cola to the CDC show that they were trying to convince the CDC, and the CDC seemed convincible that they shouldn't, that the dangers of these sugar-sweetened foods and beverages should be kind of pushed to the side. And here's a quote that I thought was interesting. The conclusions of these FOIA requests were that the emails they obtained reveal efforts by Coca-Cola to lobby the CDC to advance corporate objectives rather than health, including to influence the World Health Organization. So if you think the FDA, the CDC, the WHO, all these alphabet agencies are really out to protect you and to make sure that you stay healthy and you don't have access to things that might harm you, think again. This kind of dovetails nicely into our second story. Good friend of ours, the food babe, Vani Hari.
Yes, the food babe. There, she's exposing the corruption behind the industry on a regular basis. Vani is a very sweet friend of mine, ours, and she's doing great things. And they don't like it that she's actually exposing the underbelly that's happening. She's successfully fought different companies and those ingredients, and they've actually changed those ingredients. But in this case, she once again is being systematically attacked. So if you come out with the truth and you share it and you have a big platform, they can't destroy the message because it's truth. So they rather go after the person and the character of that person so that no one will deem them credible and they won't listen. This is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, Ty.
There's really not. And this again deals with Coca-Cola, their sweetened beverages, many different beverages that they produce. And, they're not sweetened with sugar anymore in large part. It's high fructose corn syrup, really damaging. High fructose corn syrup's terrible, terrible, terrible for your health. But that's not, there's a lot of other dyes.
Well, sugar, right?
Yeah, sugar. We saw that commercial years ago about corn syrup. But it's really not. I think it plays a large role in the obesity epidemic that we're seeing. It plays a large role in the insulin resistance and diabetes that we're seeing. High fructose corn syrup is terrible for you. But anyway, so Vani came out against sugar sweetened beverages, and she's posted, don't let your kids drink these things. Give them something healthier to drink. Just trying to make people aware and let parents know that they should probably stay away from these sugar sweetened sodas and high fructose sweetened sodas. Here's what happened. The FDA, there was an email proposal. I got to read through this because I don't want to miss the details. There was an email proposal that was sent to the head of the FDA, written by Alex Malaspina. He's the former senior VP at Coca-Cola, who founded International Life Sciences back in the 70s. It's still a front group for Coca-Cola, by the way. Alex is writing this letter to Michael Taylor with the FDA, right? Michael Taylor, the food safety czar that used to be with Monsanto, right? He was the one that drafted the substantially equivalent policy that GMOs are substantially equivalent, the same as food, so don't need to be labeled. That's the same Mike. He says, "Dear Mike, how are you?" Right? These guys are on a first name basis. "Dear Mike, how are you? Hope the summer's has slowed down a little bit for you. I assume that if your time will allow you, you'd consider this task would be important for the FDA, bringing good science to the table, and as a result, help people make proper choices in such critical health issues. If you're interested, please connect with Matt directly, your friend Alex." All right, so let's identify the players here, right? Alex Malaspina, former VP with Coke. Matt Eccles, a current senior VP at Coca-Cola, and the head of the FDA, Michael Taylor. They're all breaking bread together. Call it first name basis here. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The email includes a suggestion for an FDA roundtable proposal written by Coca-Cola, and Vani's got screenshots of all these emails on our website. So this is nothing made up. This is all public knowledge, email screenshots. Recent events, the vaccine scare in California, investigations by the AMA and others into Dr. Oz, criticism of the food babes' misuse of science, and pledges by food service establishments and companies to remove ingredients in response to consumer pressure. They're afraid that consumers are going to feel afraid now to consume products that are perfectly safe and beneficial. Honey, how in their right mind can they say that a soda with high fructose corn syrup is beneficial?
Well, sugar. The commercials say that, right? So I guess that's the case.
It's insane. This is so crazy. So they're literally go in private emails talking about getting a round table so that they can dismiss Food Babe and not let people be afraid to drink their products anymore because they are perfectly safe and, quote, beneficial. That blew my mind when I read that. I couldn't believe that. It's like these officials, these FDA guys, these Coca-Cola guys, are they totally disconnected with reality, or have they just been blinded so much by their job that they really, I don't know. I don't understand how you can I don't understand how you can talk about sodas, high fructose corn syrup, and talk about them being beneficial products. I guess beneficial from the standpoint of making money.
Absolutely. Well, we know the corruption. There's a purpose behind that corruption. The people running the show, they've got little strings and puppets beneath them, and they're using everybody and everything to gain whatever it is that they're after gaining, which in this case is credibility and money, which they know that Coca-Cola is not a beneficial substance to humanity. But they're going to continue to spin it that way. We know that Coca-Cola is an all-American beverage, and everybody that that drinks it is just happy and healthy and just living the dream here in America and around the world, when in reality, this is what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They probably did not anticipate the food babe actually getting screenshots of these emails. And so it's our joy actually to bring those screenshots, this information to you. If you haven't yet, check out the food babe. She's got it going on.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want to miss what she's doing. And speaking of not missing anything, we don't want your friends to miss this episode. They need to know what's going on with Coca-Cola and all of the agencies around them. So share it with your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are on social media. Email it to your mother or father, whoever. But it's really vitally important for us to continue to share this information so that people can learn the truth that will then set them free and give them a happy, healthy life.
Yeah, there's a lot of, look, the bottom line is there's a lot of corporate collusion going on. There's things going on in boardrooms, and you know, we were speaking up in New York a couple weekends ago, and Brian Clement was talking about this to the crowd with Hippocrates Health Institute, saying how that, you know, there are, and maybe it was Erica Marola actually, but talking about how there are literally entire divisions of these companies that are sent out to blast people that are threatening their profits. They'll literally go out and hijack your social media, your Facebook page, Instagram, and they'll just literally attack. They're like attack squads.
That was Eric.
It was Eric.
Eric,
Okay,
and
Eric
he made the
Marola.
movie about Brzezinski,
Yeah.
and he's done a lot of research behind that. We have too, and we know that big pharma and big companies, that they have a whole staff of people. Their only job is to go around the internet and spread the disinformation to keep people in their fold and buying their products. There's nothing new. And so with the food babe, they go out there and they say bad things about her, so people are afraid that haven't yet encountered her. The problem is when they do encounter her, they find her to be highly credible, and she's got the facts on her side. Yeah. That's what we do. We don't tell you our opinions. We give you studies and facts so that you can look it up and see it for yourself and then share it with your friends and family. So it's a war for information. And so you just have to keep sharing, keep researching.
Yeah, it really is. That's well put, honey. And one of the information wars right now that's coming out is about 5G. 5G is coming. You'll hear both sides of the story. Oh, 5G is going to be just the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to be faster internet connections, and you're going to be able to just, you know, beam me up, Scotty, whatever it's able to do, just faster, better. But then there's the other side that we're already seeing that in places that they've deployed 5G, chronic migraine headaches, anxiety, vomiting, even
spontaneous abortions.
Yeah,
people can't sleep
issues
at night. They're having a hard time even getting to sleep. They can't calm down. Yeah. Extreme anxiety, and so many other things that we don't yet know. This is just a tip of the iceberg, and they want to roll this out around the world. It's coming here in America if they have their way.
Yeah, it is. And so something we want to continue talking about. We've done an interview with Paul Baratiero. He's got a machine called the Key QI. You read about it on the truthaboutcancer.com. It's a device that we have here in our house to protect our whole home from the electromagnetic radiation. So it's something you need to consider. But being that this is the episode we're talking about collusion and corruption, I was watching this video a couple days ago, and this is a video former FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler. And he basically said in the video, this is about 2 years old before they began to roll out 5G. He basically said, let's not waste a couple years doing research, studying what 5G should be. I'm reading because this is his quote, or how it should operate. That'll all work itself out.
But brilliant engineers have developed new antennas that can aim and amplify signals. Now, to make this work, the 5G build-out is going to be very infrastructure intensive, requiring massive deployment of small cells. I'm confident that the actions will lead to a cornucopia of unanticipated, innovative uses and will generate tens of billions of dollars in economic activity. And that's damn important, because it means that U.S. companies will be the first out of the gate. And that is why 5G is a national priority. And stay out of the way of technological development. Unlike some countries, we do not believe that we should spend the next couple of years studying what 5G should be or how it should operate. The future has a way of inventing itself. Turning innovators loose is far preferable to expecting committees and regulators to define the future. We won't wait for the standards.
Let's not wait on committees or regulators. We won't wait. We need to roll this out first so the U.S. can be first in the world to roll out 5G, because they're talking about monetary profits, not testing it though. And here's the deal. 5G is anywhere between 24 to 100 gigahertz. This is at frequencies that we've never experienced before. We're like the guinea pigs here.
Yeah.
They have no idea what this is going to do to us. And he's like a sociopath coming out and saying, look, let's just do it, don't test it, and because we want to be first in the world to do it. And here's the interesting thing about it. Wheeler was appointed head of the FCC by President Obama. Before that, he worked as a venture capitalist and lobbyist for the cable and wireless industry, holding positions including the president of the National Cable and Telecommunications
A little
Association.
conflict there.
And CEO of Cellular Telecommunications and Internet Association. So we got these conflicts of interest everywhere, especially as we're seeing in 5G cellular communications. And the next article on that same line of thought, Congress is now investigating the FCC for collusion to eliminate local control over 5G deployment. So this is a 10th Amendment issue, right? 10th Amendment to the Constitution says if something's not specifically delineated to the federal government as their authority, they don't have the authority. It goes to the states. Well, the FCC is coming in and saying, no, states, you don't have the right. We're going to determine where 5G goes in and how much and we're going to make the profits on it, just totally bypassing the states.
Well, it sounds a little bit like what we've done with cannabis, right? The federal government comes and says, no, you can't have that plant. It's outlawed because it has no medicinal properties. It's a drug, and there's nothing good that could come out of it. Well, another part of the government is saying there are actually beneficial properties that are healing, and they have a patent on cannabis. That's just one example of how our government, our federal government, deals with issues such as this one.
Yeah, they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth, aren't they? Yeah, very, very good point there, honey. So bottom line is, watch out for 5G. It's coming. You need to protect yourself, protect your home. And, well, this next article is actually one more 5G story. And this is another collusion, corruption story with the American Heart Association. They apparently are not talking about the fact that this electromagnetic waves, the electromagnetic radiation, can actually cause heart cancer and is also causing irregular heart rates and cardiovascular issues. And why not? Why would you think that they wouldn't talk about that, honey? What's the reason?
Well, if you know the truth, it might set you free from their drugs and treatments that they're giving. So as long as you don't know, then they're going to be treating you for a lot of ailments and making a lot of money doing so.
Well, that's true. So basically, the mission statement of the AHA, American Heart Association, is to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular diseases and stroke. But they actually make money on people getting cardiovascular disease and treating strokes. But why would they not talk about the 5G, the cellular wireless industry in particular? It's because there are members of AT&T and IBM that sit on the board. It's the American Heart Association CEO Roundtable Advisory Board. So they're not going to come out against the cellular industry or share the truth about the dangers because their board has been infiltrated. We're not condemning anybody that works for the American Heart Association, right? Not condemning people that work for AT&T or IBM, okay? Not at all. But at the upper level, the board of directors of the American Heart Association has AT&T and IBM people sitting on it. It's going to be really difficult for them to come out against their bread and butter.
Yeah, everything is compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And most of the people that, just like doctors, we love doctors. Some of our best friends in the world are doctors. It's not that any of the people working for these organizations are bad people. They're great people doing great things. It's the very few at the top of the heap. It reminds me of C.S. Lewis's quote that the real evil is not what you think it is. It's a well-groomed man with manicured nails in a boardroom and his ideas. You know, that's what we're talking about here. Very few that are concocting this for benefit and profit for themselves and not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, good point, honey. And so, but we do want to end this episode with a little good news.
Good news is
Good
always
news is
nice.
good, especially when we're talking about collusion and
Yes.
corruption the whole time. You know, welcome back to 2019. We're going to talk about corruption the whole time. No, but this is good news. There's a federal judge has ruled that Monsanto's attempts to keep the ghost-written studies out of these lawsuits that they're getting sued, right? Because Dwayne Johnson, the fellow in San Francisco that was working for the school districts that recently won the $289 million lawsuit because of glyphosate causing his cancer, right? They're getting sued left and right now. There's thousands and thousands of lawsuits coming towards Monsanto. Well, they had petitioned that the jury not know about the fact that a lot of these studies that they were relying on were ghost-written. But the judge says, no,
they wrote themselves.
You've got to let them. You got to let the jury know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that ghost-written studies work is that Monsanto or another big company would write the actual study that they want published, and these studies in this particular case were that glyphosate's safe, doesn't cause cancer, and then they would find a medical doctor to sign his or her name to it, and then publish that study in a medical journal. And everybody that reads it, the other doctors read it, and they're like, hey, this is a study done by a medical doctor. And it says glyphosate's safe, so must be safe. No cancer-causing effects. And they rely on that when the reality is they just signed their name. Monsanto actually wrote that study. That's the problem with ghost-written studies. Dr. Russell Blaylock described that in great detail in The Global Quest. And when we went to Asia, there was a doctor in Japan, I think Dr. Mizukami. He's an epidemiologist. He mentioned something very similar. He's like, as an epidemiologist, I don't believe studies, because I know how easy it is to falsify the studies. I know how easy it is to flip the numbers. So he said, as an epidemiologist, I don't trust studies that are in medical journals. So anyway, coming straight from the horse's mouth there, right, honey?
Right.
Yeah. So coming in April, Eastern Medicine, Journey Through Asia, coming your way. And I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah, 7 countries in 7 days. You're not going to want to miss that, so keep following us. So much more is coming. We hope you laughed a little. We hope you're spurred up to share this information with your friends and family, to spread the truth that always leads to life. And it's for you that we do what we do every single day. Thank you for joining us, and God bless.
Thanks. See you next episode.